What's up guys, Steve here. Welcome back to my channel. So this is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna kind of teach you how I got ahead my credit. Something we all dread talking about, finances, any of that stuff, but I really do feel like it's one of the most important things in our life. Cash, money, it's in our lives, it's day to day, but no one ever wants to talk about it. So I'm gonna drop it in this video right here. All right, so once again, welcome to my channel. So I'm gonna go over basically how I went from a 560 to an 850 credit score. Yes, I actually did pull this off, and it was in a matter of 5 years. Now, I'm not gonna tell you it's some hack or anything like this. It's just a matter of what I did. I'm not a financial advisor, just kind of letting you know what I did, what works for me, and hopefully you guys can do the same if you were in the same position that I was in and wanna get to a better position than I'm in right now. And I laugh about that because honestly, credit score, all it does is tell you how well you manage your debt. It doesn't tell you if you're wealthy or anything like that. It's just kind of more so, like I said, just tells you if you're managing your debt well enough. Regardless, you do need credit if you're gonna go buy cars, if you're gonna go buy a house, if you're gonna do utilities at a new house, you're gonna need credit. You need some form of credit because lenders wanna know that they can actually rely on getting their money back after they give it to you. Me personally, lenders were not willing to give me jack crap because I was sitting in mid fives. Mid fives is bad. Your credit score goes from, I don't even know how low the lowest is, but it goes all the way up to 900. I have never seen somebody at a 900. Honestly, I kind of want to try and get there just to see if I can actually pull it off. There was one dealership I talked to, they actually did see one person sitting at a 900. I don't know how he did it. I'm curious. So I kind of wanted to go from basically 560, see if I can get it up to a 900, see as high as I can get it, and then just get to the point where I don't have a credit score. That would be the ultimate goal. But once again, credit does kind of help you out. Not all of us have 150,000 to go put down on a house or 750,000 for a house that we want to go into. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, so when I was sitting at a 560, I wasn't sure where to go. I couldn't get approved for any credit cards. I couldn't get approved for any personal loans, auto loans, anything like that. I remember I had a Suburban, right? I'm sitting in this old Suburban, a lot of miles, gas guzzler, big old Suburban, just me, don't need it. So I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I get just a cheap commuter that I can start building my credit with? So I go over, I even went to a homie and was like, hey, you work at this dealership, let's make this work. And he came back and he just laughed. He's like, yeah, ain't gonna happen, bro. He said, not today. So I was like, okay, crap, what do I gotta do? I couldn't get a credit card. I couldn't get an auto loan, nothing. And obviously at that point, clearly my credit's bad. I don't have cash in the bank. I did what anybody would do and started researching how to build your credit. Well, at the time, I had a decent job and I was just living way outside my means. So I started really budgeting and figuring out where my money was going and then what to do with it and how much money I could put towards a secured visa. And yes, you can get a secured visa. This is the biggest way to start building your credit. Even if you don't have any credit at all, you're just fresh out of high school, whatever you need, or you got bad credit like I did. So you go out and basically, like I did, I spent $750 for a $500 credit limit. Yes, that $750 was only for $500, and that was basically so they knew that if you defaulted, they still had this extra money that they could get from you. That's right, they don't trust you. They have a nice little number that shows that you cannot be trusted with money. So that's what I did. I went to a credit union and got a secured visa, and I also went to one of these small banks, help build your credit, and it was the same thing. It was a secured visa. And then once I had that going for a little bit, then they trusted me with a little bit more. And then with this credit union, after X amount of time, I was able to apply for their credit card, which was now going to be at a $750 limit, and I got that money back. But for right now, they just needed that security. They needed to know that I was able to be trusted, so I had to pay for it. Then shortly after that, like I said, I applied for that credit card, which, cool, now I got a $750 limit, which I get it. You're thinking, man, that's not much, but it was enough. So I went out, I started using this credit card just like the secured credit card. I was buying stuff that I would normally go throughout the month buying. Fuel for the car, food, groceries. And I'm not saying food that I didn't need, I mean like groceries. Like I'm not going out, night on the town, anything like that, no. At this point, I was on check. I was on a plan, on a budget, I know no one wants to hear that, but I was on a budget, just spending what I needed to. And then everything that I needed to actually spend, I put it on this credit card and I used it like my debit card, and I made sure it was paid off every month. So this started building credit. It started showing, hey, I can be trusted with X amount of money, and then it comes back to being zero by the beginning of the month. So every billing cycle, it would show that I had a zero balance, which was great. So then eventually I got to the point where, and I still have this, Capital One. I made sure I got a Capital One card, and this actually gave me a better credit line, and I kept this credit card, and I will probably keep it as long as I can because now it shows longevity with a card. So then I got to the point where I was adding more credit cards. Yes, I know. There's multiple people that'll say different things about this, but I was trying to build a credit. So I started getting all these different credit cards. And then I would only use one for fuel, one for groceries. I would split them all up, but still make sure that I paid them off every month. And this would make sure that 5 credit cards went down to a zero balance and starting the month off fresh. And this showed that I was responsible with all these different accounts. So now all these creditors see that I'm responsible with some debt. And then I went out, once again, like I said, I needed a car. I needed something else different. Oh, at some point there I did go and get a 94 Honda, spent $1,500 on it. Yes, it was a complete beater, but it was worth it because it got me to the point where I needed to be. So now I had cash saved up and was able to go get an auto loan. And this auto loan helped out huge. It was great. And so that way it showed that I had a little bit more buying power than I did before when I was at the $750. So I did go from that $750 credit limit, which was actually secured because I was paying for it, to now a $25,000 auto loan. You can see where this starts building pretty quickly. I still didn't get quite to that 7 mark until year 3, I believe, but it was able to put me in a better position where I was able to do this stuff on my own. I wasn't having to rely on other people or trying to ask somebody, hey man, can you co-sign for me? Like, no, now I'm able to do it all on my own. So now we're looking at 3 years later, we decided to move, and it was like, hey, you know what, instead of renting, why don't we go out and buy a house? Because we're gonna save a whole lot more money if we have our own mortgage, gaining equity rather than renting in an apartment. So then I got to the point where I was actually in the mid sevens, like 720, not even quite mid sevens. I was 720, 730, and I got qualified to buy a house all by myself without having a co-signer or anything like that. So now this is huge. This is where it really just like started taking off, because now the house is being paid on time, the car's being paid on time, and I am just being a member of society apparently, because you know that's the ultimate goal, right? We're all supposed to be growing, building credit, buying a house, this and that. Yeah, so I'm getting to that point, right? Well, now my credit is growing and it's doing well. So now at this point, we decided to, hey, you know what? Let's leverage a little bit more. And this is where my credit really took off, and I do not suggest doing this at all, but this is how I got to 850. I don't want to lie about it. That's how I got there. So here it is. I got to the point where I was sitting at about an 820. Right? This is mortgage, car, everything. I'm doing everything right. I'm paying everything on time. And this is about year 5. So it took me 5 years to get to there. Just like anything, it's like losing weight. You didn't put all this weight on in overnight. You're not going to lose it all in 30 days. Same thing with debt and credit. You're going to have to work at it to build it. But regardless, I'm sitting here at an 820, and then I decided, hey, you know what? This is where the Turo stuff came into play. We had some buddies. We went out and bought some cars. Now I have all these auto loans in my name. Yes, we did do that. Buy X amount of cars in a weekend and start paying them off, which was great because we had a business plan where it was actually paying for itself. Worked out great. And once we got to the point where we started liquidating all these cars that were under my credit, because we wanted to get to the point where we weren't using personal credit anymore, we started paying these things off, and then boom, right there, that's what set me off that extra 30 points. I went from the 820 to the 850. Did I actually need that? No. I probably could have done it on my own, but the fact that it did boost it an extra 20, 30 points, that's pretty awesome. So I did go from that 820 to an 850, and that did help me out tremendously. Now, for everything, all meat and potatoes, this is what I got for you guys. Having this credit has been able to help me out tremendously. Now, I know there's people that say you don't need credit, use cash. There, you know, there's the Ramsey way, there's the Robert Kiyosaki way, which is leverage credit. You know, they're printing money, why save it? And the Ramsey way, which is save money, save, save, save. Now, whatever side of the fence you're on, so be it. I will tell you that getting the credit up to the point where it's at, I was able to set up an LLC, and boom, right off the bat, this LLC gave me a certain credit line just based off of my personal history. They said, okay, cool, we obviously know that you're legit, so we're gonna give you a credit line, which actually helped boost my business credit before I really had a chance to establish it. So that did help, and I will tell you, as long as you guys are good about this, work with it, treat it with respect, because honestly, if you don't, it'll rule you and it will suck. It'll run you to the ground. So make sure you guys are good with this. Be careful with it. It can go upside down, it can go sideways so quick. So just make sure, just like anything in life that's important to you, stay on top of it, stay right with it, and really dissect it and know what you're doing with it. So that's kind of a little bit of how I got to where I'm at. I will definitely give you guys a little bit more tips of how to build your credit or how to build that savings. But for right now, this is a little bit of history of where I'm at with it. I hope it helped out. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff below, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Keep saving. I promise you, if you stay focused on what the end goal is, stay motivated, stay driven, you will get there. I promise you. Promise. Other than that, we will catch you guys on the next one. Later, y'all.